Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Double O Late Night Show. The Late Night Show, whatever you want to call it. I'm your host, of course, Owen, here today. Oh my god, it's been an amazing week, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I was in London a couple weeks ago. Saw a couple friends down there, saw a couple friends on the way back. I did a little stop off in Oxford. Very fun time, very great time. But you know, it's good to be back in Double O HQ. As soon as I got back, ladies and gentlemen, I decided to reinstall my beautiful PC with Linux. So it's actually running and booting really quickly now. It's amazing. I recommend it to anyone who doesn't use their PC for work. For those of you who don't know, which is actually surprisingly a lot of my audience, that intro song I use is actually from an EP I wrote when I was 15. It's from a song called The City. Please don't look at it though. Please don't search it up. Because you'll experience a level of cringe which might, you know, make you look at me in a completely different light. The main topic of today's video, man's worst enemy. I know you're thinking, Owen, how did you come to this conclusion? Now, coming up with this hypothesis, I will say I did not use the scientific method of testing and like actually coming up with this theory. I instead just have multiple stories that I've kind of just put all together and just said, yep, this is evidence, you know? Who needs facts and logic, ladies and gentlemen, when I have my own opinion and my own experience, you know? That's how every decision in life should be based on. No facts, no logic, just personal bias. Okay. This is a terrible start to a video. Anyway, I'm going to start by telling you these stories, and I'm going to tell you how to learn from them, okay? We were in this bar, me and my friends. There was 4 of us there. There was 2 guys, 2 girls. And one of the girls turns to me and goes, Owen, could you please tell so-and-so next to you how you do your hair to help him out? And I turn to my friend and go, mate, what products do you use in your hair? And he turns back to me and goes, none, Owen. I'm helpless. I have no idea what's going on. There's so many products out there. What do I do? And I look at him and go, mate, he had like similar hair to me, but it was very frizzy, very dry, you know. And I turn to him, I put my hand on his shoulder and go, all you need is leave-in conditioner. And he turns back to me and goes, leave-in conditioner? There was a little fear in his eye. And I said, yes, it's a great product. It'll hydrate your hair, make it healthy. You know, make your hair more manageable. Make you look more presentable. And he looks back at me, but how much does it cost? And I look back at him and I go, 7 quid. Well, that's how much I got this for, actually. I think it's like 6-7 quid at my local Boots, so yeah. Highly recommend, again, this stuff, but this is not a sponsorship. You can get any leave-in conditioner, they're all the same. And he turns back at me and goes, really, just 7 quid? And I'm like, yes, my son. And he goes, that's too expensive for me. And then he orders an £8 pitcher because we're in Spoons. And that's when I started like coming up with this theory that men are scared of leave-in conditioner. This next story, I bought leave-in conditioner for one of the boys. Well, kind of one of the boys. We're related. It was his birthday last year. I got this person some leave-in conditioner because, you know, we have very similar hair types. The only difference is mine's a little bit longer than his. So if he were to use this product, he'd have to use less. And you know, he used it once that morning, ladies and gentlemen. And he did not like it at all, ladies and gentlemen. You know, he said it made his hair feel sticky. He said it made his hair look wet, which I think he just means hydrated and like its actual color, you know? And by the way, I stole that tub of leave-in conditioner I got for his birthday. I got him 2 things, okay? This was kind of like the joke, and then I got him something else. But I did use it all up. And this is actually, I think this is the tub, actually. Because I haven't bought one in a while, as you can tell. Anyway, the 3rd story I have about a man being scared of leave-in conditioner. This was one of my friends at uni. He had shaved his head bald and he was growing it back, and he asked me for some hair advice because, you know, I'm just the guy for that, apparently. And I took him through my whole routine, which I will do later in this video. For anyone who wants to grow out their hair but is scared, I will give you my full hair tutorial so you don't have to be scared, okay? I know it can be stressful to have long hair, especially in the wind, but with my routine, hopefully it will fix all those issues, okay? Anyway, I took my friend through my hair routine. I will say we have very different hair types. His is quite thin and straight, while mine is obviously like a type 2B, if I remember the charts right. I'm not gonna fact check that. I'm just gonna run with it, but I was telling my friend specifically, you have to use leave-in conditioner because, you know, it will hydrate your hair more and it'll make it look fuller and thicker. The one thing I told him not to do, ladies and gentlemen, this doesn't have to do with leave-in conditioner, but we'll get to it. I told my friend, what you want to not do is use sea salt spray, because I do have sea salt spray. It smells amazing, first of all, but I only use that for like short-term things because it's not really great for long-term hair health and whatnot, just because it dries out my hair. and it makes it look frizzier eventually. But for like a couple hours, it makes my hair look great. That's why I have it in my hair right now, but I don't use it every day. I was just using it today because as you can tell, I ran out of leave-in conditioner. So I'm using it as like a short-term kind of thing for just this video, basically. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I told him don't use sea salt spray. His hair's thinning, it's going to make him look even worse. Anyway, my friend comes back to me the next week and he came up to me and said, Owen, feel my hair. He was still growing out his hair from being bald, so, you know, there was a little patch here, a very thin patch here. And he was like, feel that. And I did. I put my hand on it. And my hand got like stuck, ladies and gentlemen. And I was like, I had to yank it out because how dry and crusty his hair was. It like, ugh. You know, and as I retracted my hand from his head, a lot of hair came out. I'm pretty sure a lot of hair came out. I could just be lying for attention, but I'm pretty sure that happened. But I was like, bro, what did you do to your hair? And he turns to me and goes, I used that sea salt spray. And I turned to him and go, why, man? Why would you do that to yourself? And he turns to me and goes, I like my hair dry and straight, you know, so it doesn't move. And mind you, ladies and gentlemen, this is the same guy who's like terrified of losing his hair. And always talks to me about going on finasteride. And I'm like, bro, if you're using sea salt spray and you're drying out your hair and you want your hair as dry as possible, you know, you're speeding up that process of losing your hair. And I recently found out he doesn't use conditioner at all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm like, bro, if you use conditioner, leave-in conditioner, and like didn't use sea salt spray, you know, you might not have to use finasteride for another like 2 years instead of 6 months. Anyway, on to the hair tutorial, okay? I want to fix all my friends' hair right now, okay? If you're listening, if you're my friend, listen, okay? Because I want to, next time I see you, I want to see long, luscious locks with product in it, okay? A lot of people who struggle with having curly hair, ladies and gentlemen, I find are the people who didn't grow up with it, okay? So for me personally, I feel like I'm qualified to give this advice because from the ages of 11 to 19, so the end of last year, I was chopped. My hair was fried all the time. It was dry, it was crispy, it was terrible for me. You know, I'd grown up with straight hair, ladies and gentlemen, straight blonde hair. And then when I hit puberty, my hair started to get darker and curlier. And I didn't know how to deal with that, so I continued using the straight hair routine I grew up with on my curly hair, which obviously doesn't work, you know? And that's what a lot of guys do still. And the only kind of control you can have over your hair, if you're using that routine on it, is to cut it all off, ladies and gentlemen. So when I was growing up in high school, the only times I wouldn't feel insecure, and the only times my hair wasn't terrible, was when it was shorter, you know? Just because with my straight hair routine, it was more manageable having short curly hair. Because I know a lot of guys with curly hair, but they're scared to grow it out because they're still using the straight hair routine on it when it's longer. So it's dry, it's crispy, it's unmanageable, it's, you know, they really struggle to keep it presentable and kind of just control their hair, ladies and gentlemen. So that's why I'm going to give you my routine to give you a base on no matter what kind of activity you're doing. If you want longer hair, use this routine and it will become manageable, presentable. The wind will no longer be your enemy. It will be your personal stylist with this base routine, okay? Anyway, to start off with, ladies and gentlemen, we must enter the shower. Now I know what you're thinking. Owen, you're a comp sci student. You shower. Yes, I do. Okay. Gonna clear the air there. I do shower, ladies and gentlemen. I do shower. So yeah, shower, do whatever you want in there. Use conditioner though. Next step, what you want to do is when you get out the shower, ladies and gentlemen, towel. One towel around your head, okay? And you just want to scrunch it in. Scrunch dry. You know what it is. If you don't know how to scrunch dry, look up a tutorial. It's essentially just scrunching your hair while drying. It's very much in the name. A key phrase I like to use, ladies and gentlemen, when it comes to my hair routine is you want it wet, not dripping wet. And that's what you want to do with the scrunch dry. You want your hair wet, but you don't want it dripping wet. Because if your hair is dripping wet, the product's going to drip out and not go into your hair. When your hair is wet but not dripping wet, you know, some people use this when it's damp, but I use it when it's wet. Leave-in conditioner. You want a good amount, okay? Not too much though. I've actually just ran out. I'm going to insert a clip from when I did have it because I've had to reshoot this video a couple times because of audio issues. So yeah, that's the amount you want, okay? Whatever that amount is, that's what you want. Yeah, and you want to take that, you want to rub into your fingers, and you want to go all over your hair. Don't forget about the back, okay? You want to scrunch that in, scrunch it in, scrunch it in. This is just more proof that the hair routine is great because I'm messing up my hair right now, but since I've used my routine, it all falls nicely, you know, ladies and gentlemen. That could have been the wind. And look, I've learned as well, a good method is putting your head down and then scrunching up, you know, to get some more volume on it, and it just kind of more evenly spreads the leave-in conditioner to the roots. And then around this time, ladies and gentlemen, you want to do your skincare routine or whatever else you want to do. Just let your hair dry a little bit more. Okay, then once your hair is slightly damp, ladies and gentlemen, you want to use some curling cream, okay, or curling gel, whatever you want to call this. There's a bunch of these products, like leave-in conditioner, they're all basically the same, it doesn't matter. And you want to just do the exact same thing you did with the leave-in conditioner with this, when your hair's slightly damp. And you just want to go on, you want to scrunch it all up. Always do the back, okay? A lot of people forget about the back. That's where a lot of people see you from, so you want to, you know. And then once that is in, ladies and gentlemen, you just gotta let your hair dry. A lot of people use a diffuser. I personally don't use a diffuser on my hair, even though I have one. Mainly because I get up early enough where I can just let my hair air dry. Yeah, I don't really see any issues with that. So yeah, if you wanna use a diffuser, I guess you can, but just get up early. Just get up early enough, you know, and you're good to go. And that's basically the whole routine done, essentially. Just leave-in conditioner when it's like wet but not dripping wet. Curling cream, whatever you want. I know what you're thinking though, Owen, what if I don't use around my product? What if I let my hair dry too much and I accidentally put the curling cream when my hair's dry and not damp? You know, this happens to me a lot. You know, maybe my skincare routine went on too long, or maybe I get stuck looking at the mirror and I'm kidding. How do I combat this? How do you combat putting too much leave-in conditioner in, ladies and gentlemen? Simple. You wet your hands, okay? This is how you recover the hair routine. Are you ready? Or if you don't have any hands, get someone else's hands, okay? And what you want to do is you want to wet them, okay? You're gonna wet them in cold water. It doesn't actually matter. It can be hot as well. I use cold though, because it feels nice. What you want to do is when your hands are soaking wet, you want to, you know, do one of these. You want to shake them a bit until, say it with me, they're wet but they're not dripping wet, okay? And once you've done that and your hands are soaked, you want to just rub it in your hair. Fixes everything and you're good to go, you know. And if your hair still feels sticky after that, what you want to do is do it again until it doesn't. And that is how you save your hair if you put too much product in, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, that is the routine. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope, you know, maybe you're inspired to change some things up this year. Grow out your hair, you know? Don't be scared of it. Don't be scared of the wind. Don't be scared of whatever life throws at you. You know, I remember when my hair was cooked and stuff, I would always feel quite anxious going outside with the wind, or with, you know, looking presentable when entering a room, or having my hair in my eyes. It was constantly an issue for me, constantly a stressful thing. But now I don't even think about my hair anymore, ladies and gentlemen. You know, following this routine has lifted my confidence, has lifted my spirit, you know. I find that hair is very important to a lot of us, you know. It's a way to express ourselves, but the only time you should think about your hair is the morning, you know. Having this good hair routine allows me to never think about my hair at all. You know, if someone's taking a photo, I know it's gonna look good. If I'm on video, you know, I know it's gonna look good. Thanks so much for watching, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed. You know, if you don't have curly hair, you probably couldn't relate to half of this video. But still, use leave-in conditioner, okay? This is not a brand deal. I just want to say use leave-in conditioner because it's an amazing product. Thank you so much for watching.